Have you ever met someone who's effortlessly funny? No matter who they're talking to or where they are, they always have the perfect joke to make everyone laugh, almost like it's in their blood. A recent survey found that men and women see humor as an important characteristic when they're looking for a partner. 77% of women even said that it was the #1 personality trait they look for in a man. Another survey found something similar with regards to your career. This was that 91% of executives believe that a sense of humor is important for career advancement. Humor is clearly a skill that is highly valued in society. Those who have the ability to laugh at themselves, make others laugh, or just not take things too seriously have a big advantage. But what do you do if you're not naturally gifted with humor? How do you become effortlessly funny without seeming fake? While it may not come natural to you now, the truth is that anyone can become humorous with a bit of practice. Today on How to Charisma, we're going to be talking about 4 simple tricks you can use to become effortlessly funny. We'll be looking at Pete Davidson, Ryan Gosling, and other actors who are known for their humor. Number 1. Make it relatable. In order to become effortlessly funny, you need to train your mind to automatically look for the humor in daily life. Think of the top comedians' comedy sets. They're usually talking about simple, everyday things that happen to most people. They've just found a way to talk about a normal experience in a unique, humorous way. This is because they've conditioned themselves to find the comedy in daily life. We're all human, and while we all have our own individual lives, we also all share some of the same experiences. A simple way to instantly connect with anyone is to find something you both relate to. Obviously, there's boring ways to do this, and there's ways that aren't so boring. Here's a way that's not boring. If you find something you both relate to, find a way to exaggerate it and make it humorous. This could be choosing to wash your car the one day it rains, or looking for your keys when they're in your hand, or maybe what Kevin Hart did in this next clip.
I got the bill. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it. You ever get a bill so high you try to put it in the light like it's gonna change? It didn't change. Nothing changed.
In this video, Kevin Hart turns an example that's relatable to most people, getting a bill that's higher than he wanted, into something hilarious. He talks about seeing the number in the dark and then putting it in the light out of hope that the number will change. Anyone who has received a large bill can relate to this story. Also, side note, this can work even if they've never experienced the things you're talking about. If you create a clear enough picture in their head, it will be like they experienced it. Like Kevin Hart, pinpointing the humor in everyday things will help you identify relatable situations, giving you a rich reservoir of jokes to draw from. Which brings us to another way you can develop humor. Number 2, use exaggeration. Have you ever noticed that funny people over-exaggerate when they're telling stories? Exaggeration is a key element of comedy, and you shouldn't be afraid to add embellishment when you're telling stories or jokes. To make this clearer, take a look at an interview with Ryan Gosling. In this interview, he talks about the suit he's wearing and how he didn't try it on before the interview.
I feel like I'm going steady with these pants.
Are you physically able to cross your legs, or is that...
I can't feel my calves.
Ryan Gosling over-exaggerates his discomfort with the suit, saying it's so tight he can't even feel his calves. Now, of course, he can feel his calves, but by exaggerating, it makes it so much funnier. Imagine if he were to answer, "I can cross them, but it's not easy." While that's still a little humorous, the over-exaggeration and quick delivery makes his response hilarious. To start using this trick, go back to your list of funny situations you've noticed in your everyday life. Then, take some time to think about where you can add embellishment. For instance, maybe you had an awkward run-in with your boss outside of the office and you were nervous. How could you exaggerate that nervousness to make it funny? Instead of simply saying that you were nervous, maybe you can describe how you were sweating so much it felt like you just got out of the shower. Or you had the loudest voice crack in the history of voice cracks. Thinking about how you can turn something unremarkable into something almost over the top will help you add humor to seemingly ordinary situations. Number 3, don't force it. What this means is that people can tell if you're trying too hard to be funny. This will often give the exact opposite outcome of what you want, or you'll get a fake laugh, which isn't what we want. We want real, genuine laughter. Next time you're telling a joke or sharing a humorous story, don't force it to be funny. If it's a funny story, then people will laugh, and if it's not, then they might not. Unless you're talking with someone who laughs at almost anything, because there absolutely are people like that. Instead of forcing something to be funny, use some of the tricks we talked about earlier, like focusing on exaggeration and drawing on your life experiences. As an example of what we mean, look at Kevin Hart talk about competing with his friend in this clip.
He got bottles, I wanted to get bottles.
Gotta get bottles.
Yeah, you know, he had women come. I didn't have no women, but at the time I was with my aunt. It was my aunt's birthday.
As you can see, Kevin Hart isn't forcing what he's saying to be funny. It just is. However, his tone and delivery also make it that much funnier. Kevin Hart is able to make this funny by using exaggeration and pinpointing the funny aspects of the situation. Like Kevin Hart, next time you're telling a story or a joke, don't force the joke. Focus on the story itself and making the humorous parts clear to others. Playing it straight will make it even more hilarious to your audience. Here's one more example of this with Johnny Depp.
And then we shook hands, and then we went back to his house and built a bomb. I shot it with a shotgun.
And it went off.
Yeah.
Number 4, study funny people. In order to become funny, you need to study funny people and what makes them funny. Watch funny shows and study your favorite comedians so that hearing comedy becomes second nature. And eventually, you'll be able to take on the humor for yourself. Many comedians learned from watching and being around others. Watch Jim Carrey talk about one of his early influences in this clip.
My father was a fantastic storyteller. We would prompt him to tell us stories at night. It was always funny and a little bit scary.
Jim Carrey started learning how to be funny early in his life by observing his dad and his specific style of comedy. This allowed Jim Carrey to learn what makes something funny. He stole elements of that humor and, over time, put his personal spin on it. After that line, he went on to tell a story while imitating his dad's voice.
It was a dark night in late October.
Which is another great way to add humor. But we'll save that for a different video. Point is, if you consume humor on a consistent basis, then you'll naturally become more funny. So there you have it. 4 easy ways to be effortlessly funny. Let's recap what they are. Number 1, make it relatable. Number 2, use exaggeration. Number 3, don't force it. And number 4, study funny people. I hope this video has been helpful and you will consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.